In this tutorial today, I'm going to be going over the features and functions of a mobile application called Perfect Hydroponics. This tutorial will be going over update version 1.3. The previous application, you could document one garden individually at a time. With the new update, you can now document up to 6 gardens individual of each other. Let's kind of dive right into the features and functions of the new update and also the navigation of the application. When you select the app icon, you're brought to this view here, which is the applications page. And as you can see, I've already customized a couple of the buttons, tomatoes and peppers on the top left. So you can customize up to 6 gardens to keep them nice and organized. So in order to do that, you just simply select Customize Button. And then we'll call this one green peppers. And then in the top right, you just select save. And then as you can see below peppers, we have green peppers. So we will dive into the tomatoes because I've already filled out day 1 through day 12 for this tutorial. So let's dive right in. So this is the home page. If you select Enter Garden on the top left, it'll bring you into the calendar next page, which we'll see here in a minute, where you can start documenting. Graph select on the right there, right top. This brings you into the graph shortcut where you can select between any one of 9 graphs to view your data once you put information into the application, which we will be going over. And then Perfect Hydroponics is just a link to www.perfecthydroponics.com, which has more information on the application as well as general information on hydroponics. So on the bottom left, clear all graphs. Once you're finished with your garden and you want to set the application back to its default settings, you'd simply select clear all graphs. We're going to say no because I want to keep my data. And then on the bottom right is gardens, and it simply just takes you back to the applications page so you can select another garden if you're growing multiple gardens. So let's jump back into tomatoes and let's go back into Enter Garden. And as you can see, the days on day 12, which the application will default to the last day any data was put into the application. So how the application works is whatever day is selected, any data put into the application will be saved on that day. If you look on day 1, if you go into nutrients, you have pH 5.5, EC 2.0, TDS 1400, and so on. As well as we can go over to atmosphere, day temperature, relative humidity, night temperature, and so on. If we select day 2, you will notice that the information has changed. pH of 5.7, EC of 2.2, TDS of 1450. That is the information that was input on day 2. Now, any one of the 9 graphs will represent this information on a much broader scale for you to review, which we'll go over here in just a minute. And any notes saved will also be selected and saved to that day. Day 2, there was no notes implemented into the application. Let's just go back and start on day 1. Now day 1 for this tutorial, I put in notes. And as you can see, all of the plants look healthy. And on the bottom, if you read there, your notes from your previous garden will be saved here on the day selected. So any day you put in notes on that day, those notes will be moved to the bottom so you can review those notes on your next garden cycle. That way, if you have any issues, you tried something new, or you just were documenting the health of your garden at the time or the health of certain plants, you can review that information exactly as you put it on your next garden on the exact day it happened throughout your gardening cycle from 1 to 120 days. So we'll go back and let's go into nutrients and just some of the features here. We're on day 1, so when you start a new garden, you always start with a fresh reservoir. So we'll select yes. And then we'll go into notes. And as you can see, there's a blue line at the top left signifying that you changed your reservoir. Now this will also be documented in all of 9 graphs, which we'll go over in a minute as well. So if we go to atmosphere and you select foliar spray, select yes, and then notes is just a shortcut to day 1 notes from the atmosphere page. You'll see in the top right, there's a green line or bar that signifies on that day you foliar sprayed your garden, which will also be represented in the graphs page as well. Now, something else I'd like to mention is if you see the camera shortcut on the top right, if you create a folder in your photo album called Perfect Hydroponics, anytime you open the camera through the application and take a picture of your garden, it will save those pictures into that Perfect Hydroponics folder for you to keep everything nice and organized. So that's another handy little feature as well for organization, which the application is built around keeping your documentation organized and very accessible in order for you to create that perfect recipe so you can duplicate it each time in your garden to fine-tune your garden and also give you that perfect roadmap from start to finish so you have success every time. So let's go back here. And then flowering is documented in the graphs page, and we will go over that here in a minute. So let's go to day 3, which I put in notes. And if you look and you go in, we'll have day 3, pH 5.8, EC 2.4, and so on. On the bottom right is the lights shortcut to the lights tool, and it's also a shortcut in the atmosphere page. So if you select it, it's simply just a green flashlight for you in case you need it. It's just a handy tool, to have at your fingertips in case you need to go into your garden really quick when the lights are off. You wouldn't have any issues there. So let's go back and we'll go to day 6 and then review our notes. All of the plants are showing good signs of growth. Pots 4 and 7 have started to catch up. And these are just random notes that I put in just to kind of show you how they're documented once we view the graphs page. Whatever day is selected, the notes are simply just a shortcut. So there's a shortcut to the notes here, as well in atmosphere to the same note. So the whole application is based around what day is selected for you here. So what we'll do is we'll go to day 9, and as you can see the flowering button turned yellow. That's the day that you implemented fruiting or flowering into your garden. So let's go to the graphs. We'll select all graphs on the top right, and we'll start with the top left pH graph. And as you can see, on the top of each bar, any data that you put in on that specific day is represented. Day 1, 5.5, day 2, 5.7, day 3, 5.8, and so on. And then on the right, you have your average, high, and low. Now, that data will change between each graph that you select to view. However, the information on the bottom, you notice how day 1, day 3, day 6, and day 9 have circles around it. Those are the days that there was notes taken, a new reservoir was changed, or foliar spray. Anytime anything is documented within the notes page, there will be a circle around the day at the bottom signifying that there has been something documented. That way you can go directly back to those days without going through day 7, day 8, day 5, day 4, and searching around for your notes. You can simply see exactly where your notes were taken. And as you can see, day 9 is green. Now, day 9 is the day, if you remember, that we selected flowering. So from that day on, all of the letters all the way up to 120 are light green. That way you will know exactly how many days you've been flowering your garden. So through all of the graphs, the information on the bottom will stay the same for easy review. So no matter what graph you go to, you'll have the same information. And as we go through, you'll see all the information changes except for what's on the bottom of the graph, which stays the same. And then you have a total of 9 graphs that will document from 1 to 120 days. Give your average, high and low on the right, and as well as give you documentation, and this is day 9. Now again, this information when the app is cleared will be sent to the bottom where you can take new notes, and you can see on that day exactly how big your plants were, how they look, were they wilting, was there any issues, nutrient deficiencies and whatnot. All that can be documented, and you will be able to reference that material on the same day in your next garden cycle. So if we go back to garden, and let's go into peppers and then start garden. And as you can see, the application defaults to day 1 because no information has been put into the application. This one is just all ready to go for you. And again, you can document up to 6 gardens completely individual. You can clear them individually of each other. So once you document your garden again, you will have all of those notes that you have at your fingertips. So it's a very powerful tool to have in your hand to help you dial in your hydroponic gardens and really find that recipe for success and to repeat that every time. And plus, it's a fun application and it's very easy to figure out. It's very straightforward, and I think you'll have a lot of fun using the application, probably as much, if not more fun than I have had. If you need any more information, you would like any video tutorials on certain aspects of the application, or if you have questions, you can definitely contact us at www.perfecthydroponics.com and go to our contacts page, drop us a message. Let us know what you think, if there's any updates you'd like to see in the near future. The application is available on iTunes and will soon be available on Google Play. With that, thank you for watching this tutorial.